Mexico. Then I went to live in Virginia, and I thought, why not? Marcus appeared to me.
Now that the camera's off, before I forget, I want to tell you a couple of things. 2 weeks before I had my encounter, I don't know if it was, I'm not going to call it an abduction, but I had a dream that I was taken aboard a UFO, all right? And long story short, what she told me was to beware of my government, which is what you just espoused. I'm not going to get that on camera, but that struck me. Yeah. And you see me on the camera, we'll get you a copy of this. When you say that, I was like... It's
a lot more out in the open now, but back in the days, it was...
Well, it was really weird.
You didn't want to say much of nothing at all.
It was really weird because I never had a dream about being on a UFO. And I mean, this was as real as it gets for me. And
well, now that we're off of camera, I have always denied that I ever been in one. Mm-hmm. I have been in two. One, there was a professor from Alamosa, Lynn Weldon. He died. He had been studying me for a long time and listening to my story. And I told him, from the, there in the mountains, I said from the mountains, Sandia Mountain was a cloud. I said, formation, I got pictures of it, I'll email you one. Okay. It was round here in the middle and flaring up, and lightning bolts were coming out of it, like lightning. And I thought, there's no other clouds. Then all of a sudden, a lightning came straight at me. Within seconds, I was picked up. And I told Lynn, he took me around and showed me, they were all around the circle, with just me and this man. And every screen was every country in the world. And he was showing me. Then, and I said, how can you see the whole world? He said, it's not hard. We are the creators of this.
Yes.
Okay, he talked to me, and then I walked around, and I said, why is everybody bald-headed? And he said, let me come walk up here with me. And
do you mind if I record this not for documentation, but just for my own personal purposes?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't care.
Right?
Just keep rolling.
All right. Is it rolling?
Okay. Anyway,
I wouldn't have been. I mean, I won't publish this to anyone.
I looked, and he told me.
Uh-oh, secrets.
Oh, wow. But, anyway, that...
it's for her.
Okay. Anyway, that I walked around, he said, look in the mirror, and I said, why is everybody bald-headed? Because I seen other people through the screens, like windows, walking. Like, it was like a laboratory, okay? But I knew I was up in the sky. And he said, look at yourself, and I had no hair. And I said, what happened to Earth? And down he showed me machines taking off the cement. He said, Mother Earth is tired of hurting. And he showed me all the devastation, the cities, what was going to happen. Then I asked him, well, how about my kids? And he said, the gas that they let out from another country erased everybody's mind. As far as you're concerned, they don't even know they have you. He said everything, the gas had erased everybody's mind. And they lost their hair. And this gas that was let out on the air.
These people...
On the UFO where I was,
right.
He was telling me all this. And
but, so it happened to them in the past, or...?
It was future coming to what was going to happen.
So that's why everybody was bald?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so that your children won't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I told him what about my children. He said they have no recollection of you. I guess. Then I said, why was I saved? And he said, because you're not one of them. And we have come for you. And anyway, when they x-rayed me to do my back surgery, two of the doctors came in real shocked. And he said, does it bother you to move your neck? And I said, no. And I said, why? And he said, you got bone all the way from the head all the way down. He said, you're like reptile. Like, I mean, the bone. He said, you shouldn't be able to move your head. And I said, I've been able to move my head all of my life. But then I talked to Dr. Galinas, and he said, well, that's nothing new. My father's like that, too. Has that connection all the way down.
Is he Native American?
Huh?
Is he Native American?
I don't know. Galinas. And, but I told him, I said, don't go be shocked when you x-ray me. I said, all my bones are connected from the top of my head all the way down to my spine. I said, they're all connected. I said, but it doesn't bother me. I said, I was born like that.
I mean, like fused.
Yeah, fused together. Extra bones.
Must have bothered the doctor. He must have been shocked.
But he said, no, my dad
Looks
has
like 1 in a million, I guess, that they have the
They
extra
say,
bones
yeah,
in
that's
there
what
like
they
that,
said.
1 million.
fused together.
One out of a million that are like that. But it doesn't bother
So she's
me at
1 in a
all.
million.
There you go.
What's really weird, I have had major accidents and my head's gone through the windshield,
I
and
can
there's no there's no whiplash, no nothing. Back.
Wow.
I have back surgery now, and they replaced, but
Really, what a
there's
list.
nothing. I come out with the little scars and nothing, and the chalk cops and all, like it should have been just totally destroyed because you took the whole windshield and nothing.
I went, as an aside, when I was 18, I got in a car accident. I still have the scar, and my face went through the windshield too, and that was fine.
But it doesn't bother me, and the doctor.
I don't know if I have an extra bone, but I think we're gonna have to find out.
But it's amazing. When I talked to Brad about it, he said, "Oh, you're not the only one. It just shows that you're a little bit closer to star people." You know, that. But I don't know.
So wait a minute. Let's get back to this whole. What do they say? Do they tell you what they think is going to happen? Is this part of the 2012
Yeah, they
galactic
said.
alignment? Because I feel personally that it's just makes sense that as we pass through the middle of the galactic plane and go to the other side, that the pole's going to flip. I mean, it's just simple mathematics.
I think
electrical theory almost, really.
The Earth, grandmother used to say that the Earth is so old, and only we are going to go back to changes the old way. Like we're going to lose everything we got. We're going to have to go back into like wood stoves.
Primitive.
Well, that's what would
Primitive.
happen if we had any kind of pole shift whatsoever, even if
Yeah.
it was just a mile.
Then
It would just, or a magnetic, the flipping of the magnetic field would do that.